Hello to the Chinese audience. Greetings from Saint Lucia. Hope all is doing well and staying safe. Thank you again for having me. Saint Lucia's Citizenship by Investment program is one of the youngest program in the Caribbean. We have 5 programs. So we started off in 2016 with our program. And so far, we've gotten a lot of traction from the Asian markets, Middle East, and also in recent times, North America. We have 4 investment options for potential citizens. There's one which is the National Economic Fund, also called a donation, where you contribute US $100,000, which normally goes towards different sports development, social improvements, infrastructural upgrades. You also have the government bonds, where you can invest as low as US $250,000 into a 5-year non-interest bearing account, and you could become a citizen. We also have the enterprise, which is seldom used, but has a lot of opportunities to help in the growth of certain key industries, and also the real estate. So in Saint Lucia, we have one approved real estate, which is a development in the southeastern end of Saint Lucia. It's going to be a major property, which has been developed by Chinese developers. And we've gotten lots of traction from that. So for only US $300,000, you could actually become an owner in this development, where your unit goes into a rental pool. You can use for your families, for vacations. And so there's a lot of scope in our program, and we are welcoming all to invest in us and to become part of us. Exception of a few where we have difficulties doing due diligence due to various reasons, we may not be able to facilitate. So for instance, you have citizens of Russia and Belarus at this time, and Syria. We may have some difficulties doing due diligence in these regions. So they may be excluded for now. However, for the most part, we accept almost all of the world's approximately 197 countries. We welcome them. So we have the National Fund or donation, we have the real estate, we have the government bonds, we have the enterprise. The most popular is the National Economic Fund or donation. It's the lowest investment here, US $100,000. If you're applying with your spouse, US $140,000, and you pay additional fees if you add other dependents, whether it be your elderly parents, your children who are minors. So you pay additional fees. But this is the most popular of the options, and for us it helps. It gives direct benefits to Saint Lucia because these resources go into improving our medical infrastructure, our sporting infrastructure. It goes into social services. So we feel very, very happy when we get these sort of investments from our potential citizens. Tremendously. I mean, Saint Lucia is a small island. We have limited natural resources, so we depend heavily on tourism and the financial services for our foreign direct investments. The Citizenship by Investment program offers us foreign investments into the country, debt-free, which we can use as we see based on our priorities. So I know during the height of COVID, these resources were used to provide relief, income support, relief to the most vulnerable in the society. And so it was a big help, especially when the revenue from the other traditional sources dried up. So, and we continue to move forward with it. So there are plans to have human resource centers, to repair our hospitals. So a lot has been done, and even more is planned in the future with the CBI resources. Saint Lucia has been listed as the world's #1 leading honeymoon destination for the last decade. So investing in Saint Lucia, you automatically become part of a country that is seen as the most beautiful place by some in the world. We have a lot of unique properties. Our ease of doing business is one of the best in the world. So when you become a Saint Lucia, not only do you have the access to the visa-free entry, but equally, you are also able to have an environment where you can invest, because our facilities, our processes enable you to pour in money. We have a good banking system. We have good tax incentives. So we do not pay capital gains tax. We do not pay inheritance tax. We do not pay worldwide tax. So for persons who want to grow their money, get good interest rates, develop businesses, set up headquarters, because we have a Headquarters Act, where if you set up a headquarters in Saint Lucia, you get a number of incentives by the government by just doing that. So your business can be based in China, in Australia, in wherever it is in the world, but having a headquarters in Saint Lucia provides you immense benefits. So these are some of the advantages of the Saint Lucia program. The transparency is done through our legislative framework. So we provide annual reports, we do audits, and we also use a number of world-renowned, reputable sources. So when we conduct due diligence, we do it at the local level, the regional level, and the international level. So we do checks for our local law enforcement. We go to our regional joint enforcement agency, and we also tap into agencies like Interpol, FBI, and all global agencies to ensure that when we vet applicants, we ensure that we select the best out of the best for our program, because what we want the revenue, we welcome the interest in Saint Lucia, but we try to uphold the integrity of the program and our country, because our country is very important to us, and we ensure that we get the best quality persons to be part of our fabric, which is Saint Lucia. So it should not, because in our unit, we have increased the capacity to welcome the additional volume. So we've hired additional team members, we have fine-tuned our processes, we have spoken with our third-party due diligence partners to ensure we are all as efficient as possible, so we have high turnarounds in our processing times without compromising the integrity of the reports. To be hindered, as I mentioned, we hired additional team members in-house to ensure that we can facilitate the increased demand for our product. And so investors can be assured that you get as quick a turnaround in your applications as you would prior to the pandemic.
Yes.
Investors are looking for safety, mobility, opportunities to reside, albeit part-time or full-time, in territories where they were not born. So I think this has caused a rise in the demand in this industry. And for Saint Lucia, we welcome it. I mean, we get over 1 million visitors to our shores, moved by land and sea every year. So we are used to the influx of people coming to our country, enjoying it, whether it be for 7 or 14 days. So with our investors, we are open and willing to accept them and provide them with all the benefits and the opportunities that born Saint Lucian has for themselves. First of all, let me thank you for inviting me and being a wonderful host. And let me tell China that China and Saint Lucia has a long and rich history. So Saint Lucia is definitely, so we know the Chinese. We have an affection to the Chinese, and we welcome the investments in Saint Lucia. The Chinese have contributed meaningfully to Saint Lucia over the last few decades, providing us with world-class stadiums, among other infrastructure. So definitely we welcome Chinese investors to invest in our program. We look forward to the growth in the demand from the Chinese market, and we will work alongside our partners to ensure that we have a smooth process that allows them to benefit as much as possible from our program.